Hi, everyone, and good afternoon on this Friday before the big election on Tuesday. A lot of you have known me for years. Some of you are my family and my friends, so you knew me since I was born. And you know that normally I don't like to get involved in politics or elections or candidates. I hate branding myself one thing or the other. The only thing I can really relate to is I'm a big Dolphins fan. Uh, I'm a Reagan Republican, if those exist anymore, which we don't. And first and foremost, and I'm an American, of course, but first and foremost, I'm a Christian, and that is the one identity that I carry with me everywhere. Of course, I'm Cuban by descent, and very proudly of that as well. And I love and respect all people and nationalities, and I don't dislike anybody that has different beliefs than me just because they have different beliefs than me. In fact, I have many friends who have completely different values than me, but we find common ground. We find ways of talking and sharing, and we agree to disagree all the time. That is the American way. That's what I've always done, and what I have felt proud to instill in my children and in my family. I am very disturbed by the current election and how the course of it has taken, I would say, almost a diabolical twist and turn. I am afraid of this election. I'm concerned about it. I trust God, but I am concerned about humans. So let me address something about the candidates. I am a Cuban American, and I am devoutly anti Castro, anti Fidel Castro. Che Guevara is the devil incarnate for me, as for many Cubans. And I have a lot of friends of you that are Venezuelans who unfortunately have come to understand the horror of Cuba and what that represents when you bring this and you spread this cancer throughout the region, as the Cubans have. And I know that has scarred a lot of us. It certainly has scarred my family and has made them big believers in certain types of beliefs that, frankly, are well intended in most cases. But sometimes, frankly, we Cubans could be a little bit on the deep end, and it's because Cuba represents things that for us are very emotional, very personal. There are people that have drowned crossing the straits to freedom. There have been families separated, divorces, children that didn't grow up with their family or their grandparents, their parents. It's a very personal thing. So I get where you're coming from on hating socialism and dictatorships. I hate dictatorships more than almost anybody. I've actually been detained in Cuba during one of my trips, and I have seen some weird firsthand things, but that's for another day. I really despise this. I grew up with this. My grandmother was my uncle was a Cuban political prisoner in Cuba, and I grew up understanding this from a firsthand perspective of how this just dictatorships, how they really are wrong and evil for that. So I wanted to help other people understand that for Cubans, for Venezuelans, for those that are big believers in anti-socialism and anti-dictatorship, when you say those words, they trigger these traumas. And these traumas are very real, and especially in a place like Miami, which I live in, which is a bit of a bubble, just like New York is a liberal bubble, and you see things strictly through a certain way. In Miami, we have this dictatorship type impacted bubble, and we see things a lot through that prism. So please understand that, friends. But what I wanted to share with you today is why I have chosen to make my decision, which is normally very private for me, very public. And it's precisely because I cannot stand dictatorships, and because I love freedom and I love democracy. And I cannot ignore the facts that are in front of me consistently. And the facts to me point to me that should we elect or re-elect President Trump, we will potentially be putting ourselves closer than ever to a dictatorship. And I say this because if you look at the past 4 years, and I am not judging President Trump for the years before whatever he did as an entrepreneur, there's actually some merits to the stuff that I think the president has done over the past 4 years. I'm not one of those people that is so blind and so robotic that I can't understand that there are things that have been well done during the last 4 years. But I cannot ignore the past 4 years and even the past couple years where we have become so callous as a society that we have hundreds of children separated from their families, regardless of where you stand on immigration. Certainly as a Christian, I cannot tolerate that. I cannot stand it. I cannot believe that when I know that my own Savior, Jesus, was exiled into Egypt and needed the mercy of different people throughout the years in his young years. I can't separate that. You can love law, but also be compassionate. And that is something that we have lost in this country in the past 4 years. We do not have, our government is not operating from the perspective of compassion. It's just about law. It's about order. It's almost like it feels like a police state of sorts. But I don't say that in a bad way because, by the way, my brother is a police officer. And there are many, many officers that are really good officers like my brother. And I think a lot of the things that are going on right now in these movements and with the police, I think it's really a civil rights issue. That is not about the police. Point is, when you're the president of the United States, you set the tone for your administration, but you also set the tone for the country. You set the tone for how we act, what we think is acceptable. These personal attacks, all these things that frequently just come out. It's not cute. It's not funny. It's dangerous. And that's why I think that he is first and foremost responsible, not only for a bad response to coronavirus. He's not just concerning to me from a democracy perspective. I think President Trump is concerning to me because he has not had the decorum. He has not put the decorum into that office. I'm sorry that I've kind of been long-winded here, but that's all I want to say. Okay, God bless you all, and have a safe election. And I am voting, and I'm asking you to vote for Biden because of these reasons. And that's it. God bless you all.